Hello, everybody. My name is Alejandro Ortiz, and I am your host of a Random Gamers Corner. And I am joined today by a special guest named Relarin or Relarin.
What's
Introduce
up?
yourself.
Hi, my name is Relarin. What's up?
Yeah. Um, since you're new and well, you're actually like the first guest on the podcast, I want to be asking you. Tell us about yourself, like anyone who may not know you or what you do.
I'm a small content creator. I make YouTube videos examining video games, movies, TV shows, just looking at like the themes, mechanics, that sort of stuff.
And it's funny because I I guess I was just like before I started the podcast, I was just like pretty much like on Twitter a lot, and then you showed up. I think you started following me. I was like, oh, cool, and I followed you, and that's when I watched your videos, and I'm a fan, and I always love like just the way you set everything up, and just the topics you talk about was pretty cool to me.
Thank you. I'm glad.
No problem. And move. Was there anything else you want to add in, like a little fun fact and such?
Um, Sometimes I post like I don't know pictures of games on Twitter, but besides that, not really.
That's cool. That's cool. So everybody, yeah, it's gonna be me and Relarin, and we're gonna be talking about the differences between the old and new era of gaming. And I think we could start off like with the old era of gaming first, like the little positives. And you want to go first, or should I?
Sure, sure. Um, I think old and what I consider old is like GameCube and before. Um, but I think there was this charm to games. It was still pretty small back then, so you had a lot of just passion projects and small kind of games. And it was a new thing, so there was constantly something new or something innovative
Mm,
about a game or about um, just about a platform or anything like that. And I think that's kind of been lost after that sort of era ended.
mm. Like it's not
Um,
appreciated enough,
uh, uh, Kind of.
or it's just like it's not as hasn't been as innovative enough like it used to be.
I think it's still innovative, but it doesn't have that like charming indie aesthetic as much.
I think I get what you're saying. And I don't know. It was new, and the funny thing is, I still remember like those headlines where some people thought like the games aren't gonna last, like it's gonna be a fad, it's gonna fade over time, and I believe it almost happened, but I think since Nintendo was very successful with Mario and such, that it kind of like revived gaming overall to the point where like now it's like flourishing up to today.
Yeah. No, I still remember stuff like that, but I also miss I don't know, like the video game magazines that would have like
Oh
the cheats and stuffs in games.
yeah, nowadays it's just like mainly like the strategy magazines now, or yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the strategy guides, kind of, or
Yeah.
artworks, which I love. The artworks are amazing. Like the things they can make.
Yeah, it's really cool to like look back and see the differences.
It is. I got like one of the for the Fire Emblem game, like the very first one. Like I got like the special edition of it, and it has like this pretty cool display case, and then I got like this cool little box that has like all the stuff like that was around like the old Nintendo Power or yeah Nintendo Power magazine that I was saying like, holy crap, that's so cool. Like to have like some nostalgic stuff like around now.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, it was like most of the games back then were like making like we're just like leaving huge steps for. I mean, we're making huge steps towards the games of today.
yeah.
So yeah, there was like I still remember how it was still like still trying to get the hang of things though, because there were games that were just like didn't seem they really had much thought put into it, like the ET game, if you remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I saw the gameplay for it. I was thinking, this is it. This was I was thinking like no wonder like they tried to bury. I believe they buried a whole lot of the games like in a random landfill, if I'm remembering correctly.
yeah, yeah.
That was a crazy stories to like hear about that.
Well,
And
and
then there's
it's interesting to see like that type of game, and then compare it to like the first types in like the 60s or 50s with like I think it was called like Pong or something,
I
where
was
it's
thinking the
just
same
the
thing right now, Pong.
yeah, yeah. Um, and it's just crazy to think like we went from that to ET and like the first Mario game and like Super Smash Bros. And
Mhm.
then to games like The Last of Us or I don't know, like the modern Call of Duty stuff like that,
Yeah, it's
where there's
crazy.
just so much detail in everything.
Yeah, I love that. Gotta love the evolution of like how things have changed over time, and some for the better, some for the worse. But I think that's just kind of like how the industry is.
Yeah, yeah, and it's because there's like positives that like it's gotten so big, but with that came a lot of like corruption and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can get into that soon.
Yeah,
You ready to talk about like the newer games?
we good? Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Well, yeah. I think when I started gaming, it was like around like the Super Mario 64 game, and it was kind of like somewhat moving up from there before like now it's just like mainly modern games that I'm playing, like Far Cry 5 or Kingdom Hearts 3, stuff like that. But there will be moments where I'm just feeling nostalgic and I want to play like on my old PlayStation 2 or my old Xbox original because they have some really good games on there.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, those kind of games, the games for those kind of consoles are getting scarce. Like it's hard to even find the games that you want without someone trying to selling it to you for like $100 or so, which is like
yeah, it's really
ridiculous.
expensive.
Yeah,
Um, no, I get you. Like, I wish I could play some of the original Xbox games I had. Um, but my Xbox broke, so
uh,
I just have it sitting in the corner, just chilling. But no, I remember playing those type of games with with my brother and stuff like that. Um, and they hold a lot of fun memories. So one day, when I have enough money, I'll buy a console so I can take a trip down nostalgia.
right. Yeah. I don't know, there's something about like older games that just have, like you said, like just have that charm to them, and I think the great thing about a lot of them are just like the replayability factor, and that helps out a lot over time.
Yeah, they really focused on that because there was only so much you could do with the game, so you really had to be able to replay it.
That's true. And I feel like there was also like big higher risk back then as well. Like well, if you messed up on the if one of your games, then you're gonna take a really hard. I'm believing that it was much more of like a dangerous field back then to be making game like whatever and end up like making a terrible product. Just like how they went for like the ET thing, but like today they could sometimes get away with it now. Like, oh, we messed up on this old game. Like, whatever. We still got this other game that's like selling up for a lot of money because people keep buying for like the online stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. It back then it was like very much like if you mess up, that's it, you're gone. you really have to be careful with that sort of stuff. And nowadays, if it's like a big company, it doesn't really matter.
Right. And it sucks how that whole shift went like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of sucking, now we can talk about the negatives of like from the older games. But luckily, there's not that much. But like you mentioned, it was just the whole corruption save files that occurred at times.
Yeah, and that still happens, but I feel like back then there was no backups, there was nothing. It's just that's it. You're done.
Yeah, that's a big hassle. And at least luckily during that time, there's no like achievement system, so like it's not like you lost that kind of thing. But the progress you made it still sucks, like to lose that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and along with that, like I said, cartridges just not working or getting dusty or whatever. I
Oh, that's
remember all like the homemade things to fix a cartridge or blow on it, stuff like that.
right. I remember like I don't know, like I was told that was the main way to like fix the game to like make it work, and turns out later on like on the I don't know, I was a kid. I didn't look at the instruction manual, and it said like do not blow into the cartridge. So I was thinking like, oh. So it's just like the cartridge, like you need to like get a Q-tip to dust it out or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
wow, should have known better. But again, at the time, I just couldn't.
yeah, yeah. And that kind of plays into the thing where it's like nowadays more and more games are bought, you know, online, so you don't even have a physical disc or copy or whatever. Um, which is super weird to think about when you look at all these, you know, 10, 20-year-old games with this giant stack of cases and stuff, and that's
Mhm.
just not there anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like, um, I guess we can move on to the modern gaming problems because, well, like we agreed, older games just didn't have that much bad stuff going on. But like, yeah, I think going to the digital age kind of like makes like the other stuff. I mean, other stuff going well. Just going out of tradition, I guess. Now, like, there's no
Yeah,
more boxes. Like, they know some stores know that people still want to buy the boxes for the games, even though they're just digital now. So they sometimes got display cases for sale. I'm just thinking, wow, it's time to change it. Like, we just want to buy the boxes just for the feel of, just for the looks of, I don't know, it adds to the room or your collection or whatever you like to call it.
yeah. No, I used to be like that, and I still do for a couple games, but it's just so much easier um digitally, because like for example with Xbox, you buy a game, right? Well, if you wanna if you have a different Xbox, you just sign into your account and there's all your stuff. Um, and you don't have to lug around this giant suitcase of games or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of like bittersweet because it's cool that it's so like accessible and it's so sleek, but at the same time you miss that aesthetic with the boxes and cases.
That's true. And it just feels like an era that's really fading away. Like, but before we know it, they really won't have any more reasons for to keep those kind of boxes around. And I think that's why like GameStop is just like not doing so well.
Yeah, well, and like for example, the next gen consoles, um, some of them don't even have disk drives. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
crazy.
super weird. Um, and and that you can argue that that's good for the devs or whatever because it gives them more money. But you're right, stuff like GameStop is just falling apart because no one buys those type of things anymore.
Not much. That's why they try to sell the merch and other kind of things that whatever they could, like even phones as well. I was thinking, huh? I mean, why? But now I understand why. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
I remember when I was younger, I loved GameStop, but I haven't been in one for like 3 years or something. I don't know. Um, because it just oh, as cool as it is, like an aesthetic wise,
Hmm.
there's just no point.
Yeah, it at a certain point, like you kind of like get hit, that kind of realization just hit you, and it just sucks. But I guess time moves on forward, whether you like it
Yep.
or not. But still, it's a sucky situation, especially
Yeah.
when I don't know, like I loved it as a kid too, but over time I also realized that damn, they kind of like ripped you off at times,
They
and
really
stuff
do.
like that, like more problems like that build up, and you just like, all right, I'm done.
I
I might as well
remember.
just go to like that's why I use my Xbox One, like the online marketplace. Just I could buy games on there. I don't have to
Yeah.
deal with very bad high prices that shouldn't even be highly priced at this point. And
Yeah.
they always got some deals going on, so it's just there's a reason why just the Xbox or the PlayStation marketplaces are just like flourishing in this type of era right now, especially with us being having to be inside most of the time, so that factors in as well.
Oh, definitely. And I remember I sold a lot of my 360 Xbox 360 stuff um to get a Xbox One at the time, and I got like I don't know $50 for like $500 worth of stuff,
Yeah,
and GameStop would turn around and sell all that at a marked up price, and it's just it's sad to see like that brick and mortar type of stuff go, but at the same time it's like it's good for the consumer to get rid of that sort of stuff.
hmm
But
yeah.
it's
Oh, go on. Sorry.
very good. At the same time, though, it's like with some of these stores, not all of them, but like some of the Microsoft stores. I don't know about the PlayStation stores, but online you can't always return things, and that's you could
Mhm.
always do that at a GameStop, even if it would be less. So that kind of isn't great, but I think that's not always the case because like programs like Steam for the PC, they have a great return policy. Um, so it's kind of weird because it's like it's good, but you also lose a lot of that kind of security um, that you had with the physical disc.
That's sure, like the warranties and such.
Yeah, I just for example, I bought a Oculus Quest 2 a VR headset recently, um,
Oh wow, nice.
and I bought like $200 worth of games um, to make a video and stuff. And a couple weeks later, Facebook had an update, so I got signed out of my account, and I
Yeah,
lost the password. So I lost $200 worth of games that I had to rebuy um, on a new account, and it was not fun.
I am sorry, dude. Yeah, I heard about that story. I was saying like, oh my gosh, that's gonna piss off so many people, and honestly, just it hurts you financially because you just lost the games that you bought, which are pricey as well. Like
Yeah,
just damn, and stuff like that makes me kind of like still like somewhat be wary of the fact that mobile. I mean, no, well, no, that's a different story. No, that digital games are still like a bit dicey as well because well, you just never know when something like that is gonna happen where your account is like signed off and like oh those games are gone forever or even the idea that one day like something somehow some random hack like whatever God forbid that something like that happens that my profile account becomes corrupt or it gets completely wiped and all the games that I ever got or the movies and TV shows that I ever bought are just gone and I don't know that it's just like that those little things that make me still wary of like the digital age.
yeah, no, it's definitely not like foolproof, and depending on the service, for example, I don't know if you've heard of like Google Stadia.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I heard
So
about that too.
like if that service shuts down one day, that's it. You can't even get the games, right? It's
Hmm.
just hundreds of dollars down the drain, um, if not thousands. So it's as cool as it is. It's like you definitely should be careful because it's not as secure sometimes.
Right. Um. Uh. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mentioned in a older episode where I was talking with one of my friends that, yeah, I still get physical copies of movies and TV shows at least because, well, I just can't completely trust the digital versions of those kind of things because you never know when something's gonna happen, and that's like always gonna like be looming over our heads. Because, well, yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, like we're really becoming more and more versatile in the digital age, but still stuff like corruption and memory wipes could happen, and it sucks that we still got to worry about stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. And it's really weird to like contrast that with something like I don't know Game Pass for the
Right.
Xbox. Um, because that's crazy because it's like for $10 a month you get 300 games or whatever um that you can download and play whenever. But at the same time, if if that gets corrupted or a game gets taken off when you're playing it, that's it, right? You lose it. Um,
Yeah,
so it's it's there's so many positives, but there's so many problems with it as well.
there it is. That's something that online services are cool, but at the same time, sometimes the online memberships or just any kind of membership fee kind of thing always like bugs me because ironically enough, Nintendo's like online membership is pretty damn good, but I mean the price of it is good, but I don't really get that much enjoyment out of it as much. Like if I were to be if I want to play online though for the Xbox or something like that, then I gotta pay like a whole lot more for like a year's price
Yeah,
because
you have to pay like
Nintendo.
$60 every
Yeah, I
year.
was thinking, no, that's a game right there.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I never understood that because like Steam on the PC, you don't pay anything. It's just there.
Wow, it's
So
amazing. Yeah, especially when you're already paying enough as it is, like for internet and such. So just to have it, for my mindset, I'm more of a single player kind of guy. So
yeah,
I'm kind of, I kind of just like avoid playing online most of the time. Maybe for the Switch, it's I guess it's okay. Like sometimes I'll have a friend or so over on my on my Animal Crossing island, or sometimes play online games to see how it is. But other than that, yeah, I don't see much reason to play on the Xbox online as much because, well, I love the games that could be online out there, but at the same time, I just don't see the price being worth it at all.
oh no, I get you, and it's like, and it's weird because some games, I don't know if Assassin's Creed or something is like this, but it's like a single player game, but you need that online to even let it work, and it's like why? You're just making me pay more than I already just paid.
Yeah, it's frustrating just seeing all the like these paying, and you're already paying enough as it is. Like you're buying their games, this and that. Like I get it, it's a business strategy to like get more money out of your consumers, but at the same time, you're gonna be hurting your consumers in the long run as well.
Yeah, no, it definitely, and it like you already, you already invested in the console, you already bought controllers, all that sort of stuff, much less another thing to buy besides a game. Um, so yeah.
And yeah, just dealing with that kind of thing overall. Like you're like if you're not just paying for the online for an online game, you're also dealing with the fact like you are somewhat like what's it called? somewhat being pandered to buy their battle pass for whatever the game is as well,
Yeah, yeah.
Fortnite, and it gets ridiculous. And digital games are kind of scary as well because if you were to have a kid, then you also got to worry about making sure. Okay, that's a weird thing. I don't know how these parents let their cars get taken away so easily, but that's
Yeah,
not
why
the
would you? Yeah,
that's not the point. But it's just like the mere fact that one of your kids could like take that card and decide to use it for like whatever they want.
exactly. Yeah.
And I still remember that story about some kid like spending up like some their mom's or dad's whole life savings. Something like,
Jeez.
shoot, like imagine that everything
Yeah,
like the stuff you worked hard for gone just because your child was able to somehow get into your card.
yeah, that's horrible. And like,
It's
well, I like stuff like Fortnite is weird because it's, it's a free game, but at the same time, it's so monetized that it's like, oh, that's weird. Um, but
oh,
I get,
okay, bad though.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't even try with those type of games because you pay $60 and then half the content is cut off, and you have to pay more, and it's like why? And I don't know.
I
So I
feel
think I think that sort of add-ons and stuff like that are cool, but they're kind of predatory sometimes, especially when it comes to loot boxes and that sort of stuff.
oh yeah, the surprise mechanic.
Surprise mechanic, yeah.
I hate that. I hate the loot boxes. Like I don't. They're like the bane of gaming existence right there. And I know like some what are they called, prime ministers or whatever. Like they're still trying to like pretty much end those, trying to make those things like still illegal.
Yeah, it really caused an upset.
Yeah. And hopefully one day they can finally make it happen, like just banning those kind of things because they are gambling, and some people just can't resist from gambling away.
Oh, they are, and especially not every game, but some games have like legit pay to win mechanics in them.
Hmm.
Um, and that's not a good way to do it. I Loot boxes can be okay, but I think in general, it's just better to let the consumer buy whatever they want with the in-game currency.
Right.
If you're gonna do that.
Yeah, I feel like there should be that option. Like there are some games that still do that, but it's still ridiculous how they don't. Just think about the fact that sometimes there should be like a point where you think like, okay, there's as much money we should probably get. Like okay, like if you're doing like DLC like where it's just like aesthetic kind of choices, then fine. But if it's for like story or more stuff that should have been in the game in the first place, then that's just messed up. Like
No, it
I don't
is,
know, I
yeah.
still find it. I'm still like mad about the fact that Mortal Kombat 11 decided to add like that little piece of story. I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna watch YouTube to see what's going on in that because I'm not
Yeah.
bother paying extra money, especially when they made it $60 to buy that in the first place. That was just like the last straw for me. I was thinking like, not everyone should have been better than this than to just make you try to pay $60 again.
No, yeah, definitely. And like it's weird because like something like Halo Reach, I remember you could just buy the armor or whatever you wanted, but something like Overwatch, you don't even get that option. It's just random. So you could invest thousands of dollars without getting what you want. Um, and the other weird thing is it's not always clear cut. Cause like yeah, the Mortal Kombat thing was garbage, but stuff
It
like I
is.
don't know like GTA. I don't know if you've looked into GTA Online, but that game's really weird because it's technically not pay to win because you can make more money to like well okay it's pay to win but it's not super bad but at the same time they they added like a legit casino into the game where you
Oh
can
yeah.
lose your money. Um, and that was a little weird. So
It's terrible. Like stuff like that is just awful, especially when one you're paying money to get digital currency that you're not gonna use in real life. Like, what's the point?
yeah,
But gamblers don't see that kind of thing. Like, they love to gamble, and that's a sad thing. They would still take the chance to gamble in there, and along with the fact like you're gonna be losing a lot. And when it first started out, Rockstar didn't even bother putting a limit to how much you could spend. But
oh
even
yeah,
after they put the limit, it was still like they're like, oh, after the day finishes, you can start all over. That doesn't help at all, especially with shark cards and everything added. I was thinking like, no wonder they don't want to like get into the next game. Like, what's the point if people are
it's
still
making so
getting
much
money?
money. Yeah, exactly. No, it's and it's like personally, I think it's weird because I don't know that like I honestly don't know that Rockstar is responsible for that. Like it's definitely not pro consumer, but at the same time, I feel like it's just a really weird gray area because something like I don't know, something like I don't know, like Fortnite, they incentivize you to buy something, so you do. But with GTA, there's like 30 steps you have to go through before you are able to gamble that money away. But at the same time, for a Rockstar to just be like, yeah, who cares? Is not right. Um,
It's not.
I feel like that sort of casino thing is a okay idea, but they should have put some sort of regulation on like if it's bought with real money, you can't spend it. So it
Right.
has to be stuff you earn in the game.
I just wish they could have thought things out more. Like,
Yeah,
it's just a mess.
yeah. No, and it's like it's a cool idea, but at the end of the day, it's it's like a real casino, so it's designed to make you lose money.
hmm It's just awful. And yeah, with all the negatives that I get upon the list from the modern games, I can't really. It's hard to defend most of the positives, like convenience and such. But then, like, think about how there's like still a lot of negatives like around, and it'll take some time for all those get fixed or taken care of or regulated as well.
Oh, definitely, and I feel like it's in a really weird spot right now because games are so new still, but it's so gigantic that at some point no one really knows what to do.
Right.
Um, so or something like I don't know, Cyberpunk, which was not like microtransaction or anything, but they the developers for Cyberpunk pushed so hard and so it was just too much and they couldn't keep up with what the stockholders and what the corporate office wanted, and so gamers got a game that was broken, you know, glitchy, unplayable sometimes for $60.
Oh, now you heard about how 2K said that, oh, everyone should be able to will be willing to pay $70 for a game.
That is so dumb for me. There's no reason. There's no reason.
I was like,
Especially,
I had enough. Like, I had enough
especially,
of bullshit to read today on Twitter.
honestly, especially with like the model that 2K has, that they make money anyway past the $60. Like, you don't need a price increase. You don't.
Especially when they force ads into their games at some point. Like, they try to get away with it a lot. I'm just like, oh my god, can't you guys see how tone deaf you guys are?
Honestly, there's just no reason. Like, and the argument, in my opinion, the argument that like, oh, it's for the consumer, it's to pay the developers. Yeah, no, it's it's not gonna go to the developers or anyone besides the company.
Yeah, the corporate guys are the ones that are gonna make the money, not everyone else. Like the argument that uh, companies need to sell games at a higher price or need to like monetize games more just to like just because like they're too expensive is a big lie. Because we already seeing mobile stories about how corporate head office or whatever are making out like the big money. I mean, yeah, apparently like the big bank accounts right now, while like the people they have working for them are not seeing that amount of money at all, and it's really crappy.
Exactly, and it's just I don't think there's any reason for a price increase. Um, especially oh, if we didn't have any type of microtransaction, maybe. But even then, most games make like 4 times, 5 times the money they spent. So there's just no point.
Yeah, that's really not.
Do you
just just hoping for the
do you
best.
yeah? Do you remember when Bethesda charged like I don't know $10-20 for horse armor in Obsidian?
Yeah, that's the first step into DLC stuff right there.
Yeah, that was so dumb,
Oh man, how little we knew of how bad things were really gonna get.
honestly. And it's so weird because it's like at some point, if someone's gonna spend something, all right. But when you actively rig the game to kind of force people to do it, that's not right.
Right, it's just messed up. Like I said, aesthetic choices, fine. Like it's just an option. But like if it's like to make it more enjoyable for someone to play the game, or the quality of life options like behind paywalls, or even just like make you better at competitive gaming, like stuff like that. It's just it just sucks.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And it's weird because it's no one really knows because you have people that are actually trying to make the best type of games. Then you have companies that are just trying to get every little cent out of the consumer. Um, so
Yeah,
you got to be really careful with that sort of stuff.
you do. It's I don't know. It's just like it seems like a more and more kind of like bleak era until like more actual changes will finally occur.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's weird because there's things like that, but then there's things like I don't know, Ghost of Tsushima or no, Last of Us Part Two, single player games that are like legit masterpieces and are beautiful, and then you just have this sort of stuff, and it's like that's weird.
Right. Like I don't know. I guess like there's still those people who still want to like show that games really can be good and don't need to rely on money and such. So props to those developers who make that happen.
Yeah, no, it's that's the problem, right? Because games have gotten so big, it's become corporatized to a extent. Um,
Heavily.
yeah, so that's what I meant earlier is that charm, that indie feel kind of got lost.
No,
Um,
yeah, I understand now.
and that's not a whole bad thing, but it comes with a lot of bad things.
It does. Just I don't know. Like it's just like oh man, I can't keep on going with saying like it's bleak, it's bad because even though it is, it's just hard to like defend that kind of stuff, like how things have gotten. But yeah, that's why I think that's why I still love playing like the older games because well, they got that charming feel to it, and they still play nicely, and you don't need to pay anything more than you need to because, well, they it's the full game right then and there, and not all little pieces here and there, or you need to pay for like extra stuff that could have been in the game in the first place. Like it's all there, and that's the amazing thing about like older games.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's weird also because like you have all that like bleak stuff and all that sad stuff, um, and it makes you want to go back to older games, but then you have stuff like I know we already talked about Fortnite a bit, but since you have so many battle passes and stuff like that in that game, it's free. So for for some little kid or whatever that doesn't have the money to buy a game, it's cool because they can just get a really good game for free.
Hmm.
Um, so like I said, it's just a lot of good that comes with the bad and vice versa.
Yeah, it's give and take. It
Yeah,
pretty much amounts to.
I think it's good though because I think overall, as an industry, we're kind of starting to realize, hey, this isn't okay. We can't let this happen.
Yeah, I feel that,
And I think
and
that's really important.
it is. Hopefully, we shift more into like better stuff in the future later on. Hopefully, not like too late, but just soon enough as however soon it could be.
Yeah, and as someone who plays a lot of these games and stuff like that, I really do enjoy them. But you really have to. It's a give and take, like you said. You really have to kind of
Take the good of it
um
somewhat.
yeah you have to like compromise. That's the word.
Yeah, there we go.
So, but I mean overall, personally, I'm very optimistic with how games are and the way they're going because I really enjoy it.
Hmm.
Um, and you just kind of have to call out the bad cases and really enjoy the good ones. Um, and that kind of goes into the topic of like stuff like No Man's Sky, where the the developers promised all sorts of things. Um, and when the game released, it was garbage. But after years of work and rework, it's a really good game now for a really good price. So and that was only possible because of the modern kind of corporate sort of stuff. So, like you said, if a game came out like that in you know before then, they would have just gone under. That's it. They're done. But now they kind of get a second chance, which is both good and bad.
Yeah, you got a good point there. And yeah, I'll still be trying to be optimistic about gaming. Like I can see little improvements here and there, but got a long way to go. But I'm just here hoping that things will eventually work out in the end.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely.
And think you have anything more to say about both topics before I guess like getting to the ending of the episode?
Um, to just everyone and to both of us, just like don't be afraid of old things or even new things. You just gotta be wary at all times and kind of keep your wits about you because there's some really good stuff, but there's some really bad stuff.
And that's the truth right there.
Yeah,
All right,
but I
thank
think
you.
that's it.
And hmm, what was that?
No, but I think that's it for me.
Okay. Oh, thank you. And anything you want to plug in before the ending of the episode? Like,
Sure. This is
all
my
right.
first time plugging something. Uh,
Oh, what an honor to like hear that.
go check out my YouTube. Relarin, Relarin. Um, have a Twitter and Instagram under those names if you want to follow me there. But have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, and everyone listening, yeah, that was that. This is Relarin, and yeah, I'll be putting in like whatever. I'll be putting his stuff in below in the description, just so like y'all can like follow him however you like. And yeah, it's pretty cool to actually have my first guest like to come on.
Yeah, this
And
is really fun. If you want to
yeah,
do it again, I'd be down
oh yeah, I'm
sometime.
totally down for that. And once again, thank you for coming on to the show. It's been an honor to like actually like record a YouTuber I watch. All
Of course, it's been fun. It's been fun.
right, and with that, just gonna say thank you to everybody. Thank you for watching or listening to the show, and we both hope you enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
thank you, and have a good rest of your day or night or whatever time you're listening.
Bye.
Bye.